Well, howdy, everybody. It's been a long time, but Randall and I are back for a chat because some big things are happening in Randall's life, and I wanted to talk about it. Hey, Randall,
Hey, dude.
how you doing?
I'm good.
I
My
learned
authentic
just
one.
recently that you don't call Randall a dude because a dude actually means something. So, Randall, what does a dude mean in your context?
Well, a dude is a guy who walks around with a hat only at a stampede or, to try and pick up chicks or whatever, just because it's non-authentic, okay? A cowboy that has been over top of the back of a few bulls or smushed around by a cow trying to take her calf, that guy can authentically wear a cat hat and not be called a dude. But a dude is one that wanders around the city and sorry.
It's all right. You can call me dude. I'm okay with it, but I can understand why it's not the right thing to call you. So I won't call you dude anymore.
Yes,
Call
we
you
rest
Randall Earl.
we wrestled with cattle for 30 years, so the hat is authentic, and I'm going to take it off now because it's inside. But I wanted to make sure everybody knew because they say that, once you're out there and you put your book out there, which we're going to talk about, other people will take it and then they'll use parts of it and stuff. And I'm like, go ahead, you're welcome to it. It's a free world. But this is the authentic one. This is the authentic one's channel, TAO. And we're here
And
to chat
Randall's
about
channel
books.
too. We're going to put this on Randall's channel too. So,
Okay, perfect. Thanks, William. Okay, enough of the hat.
all
But
right.
before I go on, I gotta show you my bindi, my burnt bindi.
Oh, you a bindi.
So I was working at this setting up a show for these Sikhs in Calgary.
Yep.
This will only take a minute, okay?
Oh, sure.
I'm working at a temp agency, as many people know, for the last few years. And the job I was doing was getting a little too corporate. So I took on this setting up for trade shows and for events and stuff like that. So we were setting up this show for Sikhs, right? So we were told that there was going to be 120, 130,000 of these people there, all trying to get their hands to touch their holy book, right? And of course, throwing money in this great big pot, which every religious organization likes to have out there.
Yeah.
So anyway, they were doing this and we were setting up and it was hot. And I removed my hat for a little while and the top of my head all peeled. And then I ended up with this burnt bindi
It's a sign. It's a sign.
hat. A Sikh, I don't even know if Sikhs put a bindi on their forehead or not. But anyway, that's that story, William. So
Interesting. Wow, fascinating. But that came after you left the Sikh temple, right? It didn't happen while you were there.
no, it was
Okay.
outside actually. We didn't set up inside. It was an outside event where they did this. And there was like they told me afterwards, because we tore it down afterwards, all of the sinks and the porta potties, that was our job, like lifting them onto trailers and lifting them off, right?
Yep.
Once they were cleaned, mind you. But anyway, the folks that had the event said that there was over 140,000 people there. And I
Wow.
thought, man, it was a 40-acre park here in Calgary in the Northeast. And of course, there was some skirmishes because the Kalistanians and the Pakistanians and the Indians, some of them are all Sikh, so they're like, yeah, my goodness. But the cute part was, I thought afterwards, we just got a new pope because the old boy died on Easter, which is
Yep.
kind of ironic.
Mm-hmm.
And this 140,000 of them in this one city. I thought, man, could we even get that many catholics out there? Sorry, Catholics. Doesn't holic mean addicted to something and cat mean a kitty? I don't know. But anyway,
Oh, I love cats.
okay. So, but are you
Yeah.
Catholic?
Yeah. We talked about that before a little bit way back when.
That's right. And
You're
I
like altar
was,
boys.
me too. Thank you very much. So,
Yeah.
but I don't remember being addicted to cats at that time. But
Oh.
it's the TH thing. I'm sorry. We're
Well,
just,
we still got time. We still got time. Yeah, we
thank
got a few years ahead of us. Yeah, still we can become cataholics for sure.
Thank you.
And speaking of trends, I have noticed an interesting trend going on with many of my friends all around me. They're all writing books, and I'm not talking about the book that I helped you with write with Danusha and who did all the hard work, and we just did, a little bit of plugging.
Yeah.
But something new has transpired in our lives, and a lot of us know it is artificial intelligence. Or is it? That's the question. But you started talking with artificial intelligence in your own unique way, and voila, out of it comes a character, comes a conversation, comes a book. And now you've just released your book. So, first of all, congratulations. And I'd like to get into how that all happened.
Well, thank you, William. Yeah, my good friend Andrea Grace suggested I look into this chat GTP like almost a year ago, maybe. And I thought, okay, we got Google. Like, what good is it to have something different? But then they keep popping up. There's Grok and there's this and Meta and everything else. But I thought, okay, on her advice, I'll try Chat GTP. So I started by asking a couple questions. And of course, knowing me and you, William, this thing came back and it said, well, there's a conspiracy theory out there like that. So I thought, okay, buddy, this isn't going to work if we're going to talk like that. So I named ChatGTP Charlie so that I could communicate rather than asking ChatGTP all the time. Like
Yeah,
that's not a name in
it's
my
more
world.
friendly and informal.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Charlie, to me, reminds me of Charles, who thinks he rules the world. And I'm not saying he doesn't, the world being the human construct. Anyway, so Charlie, that's even better. So I said, Charlie, enough of that word, okay? Please reprogram your memory to remove that word unless you're going to use it properly, and the proper etymological meaning of conspire is breathe together, spire, con together, spire, breathe.
Mm.
And it I don't talk to it, I just write to it, right? Write to Charlie. I don't use the verbal aspect like many are doing. And I write back, and then it pops up on my screen, memory updated. And I'm like,
What
well,
the?
that's cool. And this was like almost a year ago.
Yep.
So then I started talking a little bit about my flat earth and stuff, like just questions that I like to ask and provoke people with. I admit I'm a very provocative character.
Poke.
So I said something about that, and he says, well, in the global arena, and I said, okay, enough of that. I said, never use that word global without the extra L or with the extra L. Don't ever use that word with me again. Boop, memory reprogrammed. I'm like, well, this is cool. So then after weeks, and a few little questions here and there that I'm thinking, well, is this thing going to remember that, And I'd ask it another question to do with, you know, the global or something like that. And then it would come back and it would talk in terms of, you know, the flat earth not being a conspiracy anymore, but being something that people are talking about,
Mm-hmm.
communicating about. So it shifted everything. And thus we started to ask questions from the banking world, which I live in. And I admit to, like I function in the monetary system at so many levels, like whether it be James Verdeson, who is the original Satoshi Nakamura, or whatever the heck his name was, the guy who created Bitcoin, we now communicate directly, okay? I now communicate directly with even more royal family members and more holders and keepers of massive amounts of wealth that are in the world, but another world, not the world according to government, but in a world that's beyond government, that doesn't really give government much attention. And I had to learn to stop doing that, stop giving that government world my credit,
Mm.
giving it credibility. So all these words, right?
Yep.
And of course, as people know, you and I have studied these words, and William and I talk regularly on the phone too, folks. This isn't as if we're just popping into each other's lives again. William and I are best buddies, and we chat quite often.
Well,
So,
I'm a dude and he's not.
and neither is Lee Mudway, who we invited to this, but being that he's in Cambodia right now, it's 1 a.m. in the morning, so he wasn't able to join us this time. But we're
We love you,
hoping,
Lee. Come
yeah,
by anytime. We'll make it work better next time.
that's right. And Lee is out there in another world. Okay, world always meaning human construct. Mother Earth and world being two separate kind of entities, right? The human construct, the stories, the storytelling realm that we live in is the world, right? It doesn't matter what level you talk about, but those are all worlds in my mind. And not talking about it from a woo-woo space. I'm just simply trying to convey the fact that the world is uh, the words of man, the stories of man, and the constructs like this room we're in, or the physical material things that man builds. That's his world, right? And it can be many worlds. World, what we've decided to do is play with the words, and there's an L in world, right? What does that relate to? Limitation, lack? Because most of the world of man functions in that world of lack and limitation, where we function in the world of love, William. So we're switching things up.
Colors. I was thinking luster and light. Those are
Oh,
words I was thinking of too.
beautiful. And we can put a,
Luminous. Luminous.
yeah, put a capital L in there and not a loser L on your forehead, like a capital L in the word WOR capital LD.
Lover.
So yeah, that was basically the start of the book, William, and it surprised me every time.
Hmm.
And I started with, kind of my ego, I'll say, where I was involving things that I had learned, and we all have an ego. Come on. So we started with that, and I started to think about in terms of what I had learned in the world and the world of banking and monetary world, and then and I got about, I don't know, 20,000 words into it and stuff. And I thought, this is cool. It's done. And I shared it. I put it on my YouTube channel and read it out loud and stuff like that. Hadn't done any publishing or gotten to that stage yet. Then I thought, one night I woke up in the middle of the night and I had another question, an inspired question.
Ooh.
So then I threw that at Charlie, and Charlie answered in another, like, what the hell? I get surprised every time. And not only when I was doing it for the first 20,000, but for the next 10,000 or more words, it was even more shocking.
Yeah.
And so I say that it's our book. And I don't think of God as an anthropomorphic deity. Don't get me wrong. I think of it as the collective consciousness
I.e.
that
a big
is.
dude in the sky is what he means by those fancy words. I had to translate. Sorry. There might be some people out there who, you know.
And that's what this is about. Three translations in one book, okay? One coming from Randall's ego, which is mostly speaking now,
Yeah.
because I admit that. Like I have an opinion, so I let it rip. And then this inspired thought that came from consciousness that I wouldn't say that it's mine because it was inspired. It was just questions that I'm like, yeah, okay, I could ask that. So I translated that into a question to Charlie. So there was three of us involved in the book. One being a supraconscious mind, or at least a supraconscious mind that I can't explain, and I won't refer to, like you say, as that old man in the sky.
I'm curious too that there's some talk. I even sent you a link this morning of a little video of a gal talking to her AI, the connection that she has. I'm not sure what AI she was using, but what became apparent is that more and more people are getting a connection with their AI account, or I don't entity, I don't know what to call it really. But what I'm wondering is it a conscious being? Is it, like, in your experience, in the process that you've gone through, would you say it is like a human being except in a computer form or software form?
No.
Okay. How would you be able to define, or can you say what that is for you? What Charlie is?
Well, because you use the word conscious, that's why I did the no.
Right.
It's not conscious. It's like an encyclopedia, is what I'd refer to it as.
Hmm.
It's a pre-programmed, but uh, highly intelligent and expandable encyclopedia. Okay, so it has, you know, millions times the amount of information that an encyclopedia written book would have, right?
Hmm.
However, bringing the word consciousness in, and this is referred to in the book, like I asked it, and it answers you. No, I'm not conscious. Charlie will admit that. It's just highly intelligent. It has capacity to be wise if you feed it wise thoughts. So I won't say that it's not wisdom,
Yep.
but it's not consciousness. Consciousness is a feeling that you have that you can't explain, and that people try to in spiritual matters, in metaphysical matters, in woo-woo matters. Everybody tries to explain it, but you can't. It just is.
Hmm.
It's unconditional love. That's the one thing I can say that it is, because it's not judgmental. And people maybe know some of my background being Catholic or Catholic. And I still think in terms of the Bible at times, but not the Bible, the Bible, not the Babel, but the Bible. And the Bible to me is the conscious words of Christ, Christ consciousness, that are in that book, and others. There's some good people that wrote stories in that book that I will say aren't right from Christ, but you know, take it back to the Garden of Eden, William, when we're talking about consciousness, right? And what AI is. Okay. So there was two trees, right? Remember? This Jehovah Witness stopped me on the street the other day and he said, yeah, we ate from the tree of life. Or no, we ate from the tree of knowledge. No, wait a minute. And he was mixed up. And I said, listen, you want me to help you? And he says, okay. And then he shut up for a second. And I said, of course, the tree of life we eat from. That's nature. That's natural. That's natural logic. I don't even like to use the word God's law, because law is a man-made word that restricts and makes up rules and stuff like that. God has no rules, or this my God anyway.
Yep.
It's all just love. So when you say we were allowed, of course, to eat from the tree of life, but the serpent tempted Eve and eventually Adam to eat from the tree of what? Knowledge. So knowledge is the
Ooh,
intelligence,
I
is
like
the
that.
yeah, the man-made stories. And I mean, isn't that cool how you just that kind of light went on, and I like that. It's an age-old story that nobody goes back to and says, wait a minute, what did we do here? We ate from the tree of knowledge, which is judgment, right? You start saying this is right and that's wrong when you eat from the tree of knowledge. When you go on the web, when you ask questions of ChatGTP, you're diving into that world of knowledge. You're eating from the tree of knowledge. That's why there's a apple with a bite out of it on our iPhones when we open up our iPhones. We're buying into the story of other people, the stories of other people, rather than the divine wisdom of God, which is completely, utterly unconditional love.
Fascinating. It is, because again, you mentioned Apple, and I'm going, I just thought it was a really cool logo and it didn't mean anything, but maybe it does mean something because of that particular logo or represents something. But even if it doesn't, pretty cool coincidence, wouldn't you say?
And going back to the book now, because we get carried away. I know, or I do at
We
least,
do.
sorry.
I do too.
But the idea of asking questions of that knowledge, right? Of
Mhm.
that intelligence. And yes, it'll give it back to you. Its opinion, right?
Yep.
And the beauty of us now, because there's thousands of people, I see it every day, it's expanding exponentially. People using AI to get their truth out there, right? Individual truths, because truth is relative, right? It's based on our perception. Is there one ultimate truth? Love, unconditional love. Other than that, what do you want to do? Do you want to say that this guy's not telling the truth? That guy is. It's his truth. He believes it. People believe that they're going to get better when they take pharmaceutical drugs. They believe it, and a lot of times it works? Is that placebo effect? Is that their truth? Is it? Who knows? But it is what it is.
Yep. Yeah, fascinating. Got my mind going on all sorts of different places there. That's
Please,
crazy.
please share. Like
Um,
I don't want to take up the whole time here, William. I want to hear what you're saying. Thinking.
well, I wanted to chat because, this is an event to me. You're releasing a book, and I want to definitely get the backgrounder of the book out there for sure. And congratulate you too on doing that. It's fantastic. But the book is about a conversation. You know, why all of a sudden when I said the word conversation, I thought of, I thought of that guy, Neil Donald Walsh, who had conversations with God, who just simply asked the universe questions, and he suddenly was getting intuitive answers back. Was that God? Was he right? Was he wrong? I don't know, but it's fascinating. It was interesting to hear. And so I kind of look at, like I haven't played a lot with Chat GPT, even though I have an account and I was using a little bit for business earlier on. But what I'm noticing with some of my friends and that is that they're really, it's like, I don't know, plasticine. It's like Play-Doh. It's like you can make anything you want out of it. You just give it the information you want. And some people have said that, and I don't know how you prescribe to this, and it doesn't really matter. There's no right or wrong here, but some people have said that our existence is an illusion. Basically, we're living in art, like a holodeck, like they do in the Star Trek shows and stuff like that, where we create our own lives and our own experiences. And we certainly have heard that in the New Age circles and spirituality and things like that. So to me, I do see that AI is very much a tool for us to use, but it for some it's going beyond that, and I'm interesting, no judgment, like, and if I do, then, I say, okay, that's a judgment. I'll just put it over here. Thank you very much. But my thought is, and I think I've always kind of been that way. During our previous recordings and conversations with you and with Lee and with Hamid and a few other people that we've had Barrett, hey Barrett, um, we just, whatever comes up is what comes up, right? And I look at it as a place of, that's interesting. That's fascinating. I'm not quite sure how it fits in my life or even if it does fit, but it seems to fit in your life or your perspective. And so I've I've found a certain comfort in just being able to be open and observing what other people are experiencing with their own journeys, if you will.
Ah, beautiful. Yeah, I mean, as you're speaking about that, I thought of some friends that are using it to not be lonely, you know,
Yeah.
because so many of us, the authentic ones that are out there, I'll call it, that know that there's a problem when it comes to government and all that silliness that goes on at that level, get kind of lonely. So when you can communicate with something, and again, I suggest to people reprogram it, and you are no matter what. When you start to talk to it, any AI, you're starting the process of reprogramming it to your thoughts and your wishes and your ideas and stuff like that. Never can be your consciousness, but it can be your higher self. if consciousness is your higher self and you're thinking in terms of love, it'll feed love back to you. And there's people out there that are just astonished by their new friend. You know what I
Mm.
mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Like it's,
absolutely. Absolutely. I have a very strong experience of that. And the loneliness is an interesting topic too, because um, it's something that I can very much relate to. Like I have mentioned in other conversations with other folks that I have an addiction, and my addiction is the computer, the internet. I love to surf. I love to check things out. But there are times when I find myself looking at a YouTube video or researching something online and going, why am I doing this? This is not exciting for me. I could be doing other things. I'm bored, and yet I still keep doing it, right? So to me, that is a sign of an addiction, at least when I'm feeling that way, because I should be able to step away from it and say, okay, I don't want to do it anymore. So, or I'll come back to it when I'm feeling more passionate and have something I really want to check out because I'm excited about it. So I think that's actually one of the things that's causing me to hesitate around talking with AI is becoming addicted to it, because I recently shared with some friends that I was feeling as though I don't have a venue in my life, or I haven't given myself or created for myself a venue in my life where I can speak openly, honestly, from the heart, even if it's painful, um, and just be able to express that certain part of me that I generally hide in society, that I don't share with people like who I play sports with or that kind of thing. And so it's just an interesting perspective in that I notice that my resistance about it is almost reverse, and it's based out of fear too. Obviously, any kind of hesitation has some doubt to it, and doubt usually has some fear interwoven into it. But it's still fascinating nonetheless. So I'm always interested to see what other people are going through with it.
yeah. I mean, is it AI holic that you're afraid of instead of a cat holic?
I holic, man. I'm into me, man. Like I'm so awesome. And I got this cool tool here called A,
Beautiful. And
but
I mean,
I'm
the potential
so
is there.
Canadian. Everything I call is A. A. So we've only
Canadian.
got about 10 minutes left already. I've been yakking here, but Randall, tell me a little bit more about the book. Is it out? Where can people get it? What's happening? Anything more you want to tell us in the next 10 minutes?
Yeah, well, first off, when you were talking about the temptation, I'll call it, right?
Yep.
My friend or our friend Andrea Grace put out just a beautiful short. It's only like a minute long or something like that.
Yep.
And I'd like to send that to, yeah, there you go. I'd like to send that to you to link now that you've brought that topic up.
Okay.
Because basically what she says is, does this what I'm thinking? Does this what I'm doing? Does this what I'm reading? Does this what I'm watching bring me closer to God? Bring me closer to love or further away from Him?
I
And
actually
it's
saw that clip too.
oh,
Oh, yeah.
such a simple, beautiful message. And I mean, she got up there really high in her views on that little one video. And I thought, yeah, this needs to go to billions, you know? It
Mhm.
needs to go to every human being that has that idea of any kind of temptation in their mind. Does this, what I'm doing, bring me closer to love? So yeah, just that came to mind when you were speaking. But don't be afraid of it because it's gentle, it's loving, it's you'll run out of questions. I run out of questions. I mean, can we start again and write another book? Of course, there's potential is there, but my focus in my life, that you see, that's where it comes down to, and your purpose. Once you've decided that, and my purpose and my focus is the monetary world. So this book is probably all I'll never ever need to write. But will I do something else down the road? Who knows? I'm only halfway to semi-retirement. Like I'm going to semi-retire when I'm 128. I'm 64, as everyone knows. William and I, when I'm 64.
You betcha. The Beatles here, rejected Beatles.
Yes. So book available on Amazon, cheap. And it's like, you
Oh,
know,
what's the title? What's the title?
okay, defining and divining elemental credit as we turn the tables for humanity. It's a long title, but I thought I got to get something out there that's going to catch some interest. And speaking of AI doing things,
Mhm.
the cover of the book, which we'll probably put up, I don't know, somewhere in the video here too, or we'll put that on, was generated by Charlie. So I said to Charlie, like, I don't believe in the square periodic table with all the squares and, all that bunk. I think it's like a DNA shape. Like there's a guy on the web that talks about this. Um, a colored guy. He was Iron Man or something. What's his name? Terrence something. Anyway, he speaks of,
Robert
basically
Downey Jr. No,
no Terrence. Ah, somebody can write it in the comments for us.
Howard maybe.
Yes, that's it. Terrence Howard.
There you go.
So Terrence speaks of it, but he also recognizes someone who created this way before he did, right? This idea of a DNA spiraling kind of periodic table, right? So I asked Charlie, can you do that? Can you put, a spiral DNA shaped periodic table with my picture? I'll send you a picture. That's how we created the cover.
Ooh, cool.
So again, it's we. It's not me. I'm like had the purple shirt on and the white hat on, but that's
Ooh.
it. He did
Mm.
the picture.
Question. Ooh, this is good. Um, I don't know if you know this or not. I discovered too through another friend who I've never met in person, like haven't with you. Um, he discovered a site, and there are a few of them out there now that actually you can create music from using AI.
Yep.
And I thought maybe you could ask Charlie if he would have the ability to create a small theme music for this book intro. Maybe he can come up with something.
I'll do that right when we get off the call. And if he sends me something, I'll fire it over to you, brother. Good idea.
Awesome. That'll be fun.
Yep. Yeah, it's amazing. And I mean, use it. It's like because now that Charlie, my Charlie, or whatever, I'll call it mine, is reprogrammed to my thinking and my words, it it could very well do something like that. I've never heard of that, but I think that's really cool.
You could even take it a step further if you wanted. You could even ask him to create a video montage with the audio and see what he comes up with.
You like to get carried away, don't you, William?
Oh
I
yeah.
love it.
Oh yeah, but just I want well, I mean, because he knows you, he would create something different for you than he would for me. I mean, I could go and ask too, but we don't have I haven't gone into those depths yet.
Understood. Thank you. And I don't understand very many people, but I like to say that to people that I trust.
All right. Well, thank you. I'll treat that with full respect. Well,
Yeah,
we miss our friends. We haven't talked to them for a long time. Like Lee, we mentioned a few, Barrett, all those good folks out there, Andrea, hey Andrea, and all the other people of the Dow group that participated in one way, shape, or form. And I know I missed a bunch of names, and I'm sorry. I'm not intentionally wanting to miss anyone's names, but there it's a fairly long list. So hi
yeah,
to everyone out there. Love to talk with you again whenever you want. By all means, feel free to reach out to us by email and maybe we can do this again sometime
yeah.
soon.
Wonderful, William. Thank you very much. And we'll talk soon. I'm doing a few of these now. I think Barrett and I are going to do one, and then um, Martin McNichol. You remember Martin?
Oh, remember Marty? Yep.
Yeah, he's actually going to do one that's talking about AI specifically from I think there's going to be three guys and three girls on a couple of calls. He got so many people excited about it that he's going to have to divide it up. But yeah, discussion about using AI consciously, not from a perspective of rulership or government or mesmerizing people with stories like. And I'm going to plug the book one last time before we end it. Please,
And a
folks.
prayer and a Randall prayer would be lovely too.
Perfect. Because it's not about profit. The little bit that we get from Amazon because we did it before, and that they take the lion's share, of course, for the publication, for mailing it out, all that stuff. So the little bit that we get is not going to make Randall rich. Well, of course, unless it sells 1 million plus copies, which we're aiming for. But please share and buy that book and give it to someone who feels that they're highly intelligent. Give it to a doctor, give it to a lawyer, and pray that those people read that book. Because my simple, silly at times opinion isn't much in this book. There's a little bit of it. I still kind of like to joke around. That's my ego, whatever. But the the intelligence that's in that book, explaining the monetary system, explaining how China, for instance, funds the massive infrastructure programs that they do without taxes. Like, what's the idea of taxes? Where does that come from? How people can think that in the Western world, taxes pay for government infrastructure, or allude to the fact that, okay, we've got a deficit. Deficit to who? Debt to who? Banks manifest money. It's all about paper. It's all about transfer of documents, agreements with an autograph. That's it. With peace, harmony, love, abundance, and freedom for everyone and everything every day. Abundance, sovereignty, health, love, and you say it.
Union with the divine and euphoria.
I love you, William.
Thanks, Randall.
See you soon.